we've all experienced what a wedgie feels like. I think as a society, we have to just learn and accept that certain people will just have to remove them. It is what it is. We've all gone through it. Sometimes it's like way wedged in there, and you have no choice. You have to do it in public. And I think I'm hoping that at some point society is just, more accepting of that. Like, it is what it is. We all go through it. Just allow people to do it. There's no need for people to try to hide it by, taking long strides or long steps. Just allow people to do it without judging them. Anyways, all jokes aside, guys, let's get serious here for a second, because I wanted to actually take a little bit of a breather. I wanted to kind of cleanse my palate, because over the past few weeks, it feels like this channel has gone incredibly negative. It's gone incredibly intense, especially with this new Maximum Spider-Man action figure right around the corner. And, it's selling out and people just having very strong opinions on it. I'll give you guys my quick recap because people were losing their minds. I think it's like a really good figure. There's some really good stuff happening, but it is overpriced. There, I said it. It's overpriced, but it's still like a good innovative figure. I think it's just a matter of personal perspective and what you're into. I would never pay the $50 price point, but I also don't think that it should be $25 as some people are pointing out. So I think there's kind of like a middle ground there, but we're not here to talk about any of that. We're actually here to talk about some more knockoff figures from Aliexpress. For those of you guys that actually keep up with the channel, you guys know that I like to do this like every, month or so. I'll just kind of pop on Aliexpress and see if they have any new offerings in terms of Marvel Legends action figures, or sometimes some other accessories and things of that nature. But in today's video, yes, we're taking a look at stuff that isn't technically like Marvel Legends knockoffs, but at the same time, it's just easier to say Marvel Legends knockoff rather than like including every OM out there that we're going to cover in today's video. But yeah, all of these are Marvel Legends action figures. Let me know down below if you guys buy from Aliexpress or if you guys plan on purchasing from them. Do you trust them? I know there are a lot of people that kind of stay away from them for a number of different reasons, and I'm kind of curious to see what everybody has to say. But let's get straight into it. The first one that I wanted to show you guys was this Marvel, or quote unquote Marvel Select knockoff action figure. Interestingly enough, this one is kind of a fascinating one because way back in the day, this was kind of a healthy alternative, because a few years ago you could either get that Build-A-Figure Rhino for the Marvel Legends line, which was going for like almost $200. You could go with the Diamond Select version, which I think was close to like half of that, like a little over $100, or you could go with the knockoff, which is usually around like, I don't know, I want to say like over $30. And the opinions on this particular knockoff ranged from like decent to pretty good to great. It just depended on, what figure you got. But for the most part, people were pretty happy with the knockoffs. In this particular case, I think there are, better options now, because they did decide to re-release that exact same figure in a retro carded animated series version. And you do have the reissue of that figure. So you got the original Build-A-Figure, you have the retro carded version, and then you have the retro carded reissue. So you've had about 3 different chances. If you're a new collector, I guess you could try to buy one of these on eBay. It'll still be around like $50 to $60 depending on whether you want to pay that. I still feel like that Marvel Legends is due like a huge upgrade, so hopefully Hasbro decides to do that sometime soon. But if you don't want to go that route, you can always pick up this one. It's going for about like, low 20s to $30 depending on the listing and what deal you get, because it depends if you're a new buyer or you've already had an account for quite some time. Sometimes they'll give you some discounts here and there. But overall, this is a good option if you want like a big gargantuan Rhino with like some great sculpt work and really good paint work all around. But if you're looking for better articulation, I would probably stick with the Marvel Legends line, even though it's not like greatly articulated either, but it's still like a pretty good option if you don't want to spend the $50 to $60. Although I will say, I think right around the corner, I think this year, more than likely, we're going to get a new Marvel Legends Rhino. So I think you could always be patient, but this is a good alternative if you want to spend an extra 20 to 30 bucks. If you have the extra cash lying around and you want to try this out, I definitely suggest it. There are a lot of, reviewers and a lot of content creators that have already picked this up and have said, some phenomenal things about it. Next up, we have this knockoff of the Abomination. Diamond Select action figure. And everything that I said about the Rhino just definitely applies here. If you're interested in like a really big Abomination figure that's just going to stand out in your display, this is perfect, but it just has like minimal articulation. It's one of the worst articulated figures that I've ever seen. Now, when it comes to this particular figure, you're kind of dry on options because I'm trying to think back, but Hasbro hasn't released an Abomination figure in quite some time. We did get the Gamerverse version, but I don't really love that one. I want a more classic iteration of the character. I think we're eventually going to get it, and in my speculation video for 2025 I actually predicted that we were going to get an Abomination figure for this calendar year. So it's very intriguing to see where Hasbro decides to go with, especially with like Red Hulk being in the big screen. There are some Hulk projects in the work, and anytime we get really good really good comic book runs for Hulk or really good MCU appearances, we eventually get some, merchandising. So hopefully we get a new Abomination sometime soon. But if you're not interested in waiting for that long, you can always just go ahead and pick up this figure. As I said about the Rhino, great sculpt work, great design. The articulation is just not there. It's just a big giant like hunk of plastic. It's more like a semi-statue. You can kind of articulate the arms here and there, but for the most part, the figure is just going to stand and look beautiful in your display. I also ran across this Zombified Hulk, and this is kind of a concept that I think Select was doing for a while not too long ago, where they were essentially just taking existing body molds and zombifying them. I think they would sometimes like switch out an arm and a new head sculpt on the original character. Like if it was Hulk, they would just take an existing Hulk and then just kind of zombify it. Really cool idea. That's always been kind of pretty prevalent in Marvel comics and actually DC comics as well. Zombifying characters and then making entire storylines about it. This is pretty cool if you're into it. This is yet another one of those figures that has kind of fluctuated in the third party. Last time I checked it, I think it was going for like roughly well over $100 brand new in like really good condition. So I'm going to assume that it's still up there in the triple digits or at least close to it. So this is a really good alternative if you want something kind of from left field, something kind of obscure that not too many people are familiar with, but it's definitely got quite a bit of a cult following for sure. And then we have who I like to call like douchey Hulk bro version. I'm not sure what this is based on. I'm not sure if this is like 100% brand new sculpt or if they're basing it on something, but just looking at it, it looks cool. It's original. It's a like really neat design. I'm actually really gravitating towards this figure. It's got the whole shades. It's got like the rib. This kind of reminds me of like a Hulk that would go out to like Planet Fitness and just be really loud and grunting and slamming like all of the dumbbells on the floor. Like that's who I think this dude would be, but I really like it. This is kind of something, and I've mentioned this before from Aliexpress, where they do this actually pretty consistently with a lot of different characters, where they don't just give you knockoff figures. Sometimes they'll add things here and there, like a new head sculpt, a new accessory piece, or an article of clothing. I think we saw this not too long ago with that Pizza Spidey, where, that body mold is completely outdated, but there was like a version that you could add like pants to it, or I believe it was like a jacket or a trench coat or something along those lines. But it was something different. They were adding something, they were giving it a spin, and I really enjoyed that more than just them, just replicating a figure that is already in existence, but is also massively outdated. If this is something that you're interested in, Aliexpress has you covered. They also have a couple of these like custom painted Juggernaut action figures, and I'm going to assume these are also Diamond Select. Same thing as what I've been referring to, like the big deluxe Marvel Select action figures. The articulation is just incredibly limited. Great sculpt work and things of that nature, but overall just very limited. And I actually made an entire video where I talked about Diamond Select just not doing a very good job with their figures. I know a lot of people are like diehard Marvel Select fans and just Diamond Select in general. Personally, I prefer my figures to be way more articulated. I want to get them into dynamic poses, and unfortunately Select just doesn't do that. So I kind of nitpick here and there. I'll pick up some figures when they really draw my attention, or if there's no other manufacturer working on that particular license or that franchise, I'll probably pick up the figures. But this is a cool, neat design. As I said before, it's kind of like a remix on some of these figures. You have the one that's, Captain America version, or the Captain America colors, and then you have one that is, or the one that has that yellow uniform. And I don't know if that's ever been featured in the comic books, but I do remember it's featured, I believe, in Deadpool 2 when they get arrested. and they're wearing those yellow jumpsuits. So if this is something that you're interested in, it's a really cool, like I said, redesign of an original Diamond Select action figure. And this is kind of where I think AliExpress really shines. They truly show their capabilities. And I'm really hoping this isn't just the end of it. I'm really hoping that they continue to kind of really hone in on this skill that, or this kind of little niche that they found where they redesign characters and give us new takes on them. Next up, I did find this Cletus Cassidy Marvel Legends action figure, and I believe this one is from that Monster Venom Build-A-Figure wave. This was, I don't even want to guess when this was released. I want to say like 2019, 2018, around there. Eventually, they would re-release, by the way, that Monster Venom in a deluxe format, and then they've reused that body mold, I don't know, an insane amount of times. They did Toxin, they did Riot, and a few other versions, but that body mold has definitely, lived its lifespan. But really interesting, they're deciding to re-release this one. It comes with that beautiful Cletus Cassidy head sculpt, and then it does have some of those really cool designed tendrils all around the body mold, and then it also comes with some weapons that can be swapped in and out for the hands. It's a phenomenal figure. There are people that consider this to be like the end-all Marvel Legends Carnage at the moment. I think this figure, brand new for a while, was going for close to $80 to $100. I'm not sure if it's dropped ever since then, but this is a good alternative if you don't want to spend a ton of money. And if it looks anywhere near as good as the original does, this will be a phenomenal addition to your display or to your collection. And then I'm not going to spend too much time on the two Deadpool figures. They do have the Deadpool Pirate action figure as well as a Legacy Edition Deadpool, only because I think I might have already mentioned this in a previous video, but they're both still available, very affordable. It depends on the listing. I think I've seen them for different prices, but they're going from anywhere from like $6 to $8. Great deal for either one of these. And I believe some listings have that Legacy Edition Deadpool with like extra cool accessories. So if you guys are interested, definitely keep an eye out for those listings. And then lastly, to wrap up today's video, not really a Marvel Legends action figure, but I thought I would show this really cute Spider-Man, kind of like a mini statue or a mini figure. I wouldn't even call it a figure because it's not articulated, but it's a really cool, neat design. It has like a classic color tone in one version, and then there's another one that has the Gamerverse color paint job on it. If you guys are interested, I think I've seen it for as low as like $1. So even if it comes in with the paint a little bit smudged or the sculpt looking a little bit weird or the eyes a little bit disproportionate, if you get the correct one, $1 is really not that much of a gamble. It's kind of what those little machines charge you for, those little like egg toys at like your local supermarket. Sometimes as you're walking out, they'll have them and it's like 50 cents or $1, and then you'll pop it in there, twist it, and then like one of these little egg toys comes out. That's kind of what I consider it. It's a really cool gamble. If it looks good, you can actually pose it on your display and it'll look phenomenal. It's just kind of like something to add a little bit of flavor, something that looks a little bit different, something that just kind of draws the eye a little bit more than just a regular Marvel Legends action figure. So if you guys are interested in something like this, it's still available. Like I said, very, very affordable. I've seen it from anywhere from like $1 to about like $5, depending on, how many times you've been on AliExpress. But still, pretty good gamble if you guys are interested. There you guys have it. I'm not going to make this video too long. I tend to ramble. I'm sorry about that. It's a sickness. I'm just very passionate about action figures. I love sharing stuff like this with you guys. I will say, if you guys enjoy this type of content, make sure to stay tuned. You can always hit the subscribe button if you want to stick around. Let me know your thoughts down below. And as always, if you guys are interested in supporting the channel more frequently or more consistently, you guys can always sign up for the membership. I don't expect anybody to do it, but it's just like an extra opportunity to, help the channel and, help the setup get some upgrades and things of that nature. It can definitely help me free up some time, and I can maybe upload more consistently and things of that nature. So if you guys want to join the membership, you guys can always do so. But if you can't, just hitting the like button, subscribing, leaving a comment, things of that nature always just help out the channel. And I definitely really appreciate it. It means a lot to me. It gives me motivation to keep moving forward. So thank you to everybody who tunes in pretty consistently, leaves comments, and, just overall is around. Okay. Thank you guys so much. Stay safe out there. And as always, make sure to enjoy the hobby. In times like this, where there's a lot of negativity in the air, it's always important to just remember why it is that we do this. We love action figures. We love collecting. We love displaying. So do a little bit of that from time to time. Stay safe out there, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you.